More Gospel, chapter 10, Living Martyr. Then he said to them all, "Whoever wants to be my disciple must deny themselves and take up their cross daily and follow me. For whoever wants to save their life will lose it, but whoever loses their life for me will save it. What good is it for someone to gain the whole world and yet lose or forfeit their very self?" Luke chapter 9, verses 23 to 25. What does it mean to carry your cross? For Jesus, it meant physical death at the hands of the Romans. When Jesus spoke of the cross, the crowds who listened knew exactly what he was talking about. They had seen many crucifixions because it was a very common practice of the Romans. Sometimes the Romans had lined the roads with hundreds or thousands of people hanging on crosses. Jesus demanded faithfulness unto death, and he was very clear about it. But on this occasion, when he speaks of the cross, he uses the word daily. That changes everything. He wants us to be living martyrs. The term seems inherently contradictory because martyrs die for their faith. Can someone die every day? Certainly not physically. When he says to deny yourself, he indicates the kind of death he means. To lose your life means to deny your own will for the will of God. Physical martyrdom is the supreme act of choosing God's will over our own. But one could also be a living martyr by choosing God's will repeatedly throughout each day in small matters. A continual denying of my own wants and desires in order to love God and neighbor. Family life is the most obvious place where a constant denial of self is needed. Spouses choosing the good of each other, and parents choosing the good of their children. Kids are inherently self-centered, but with parents who model and teach self-denial daily, they will learn it. Sometimes a situation arises, and the choice we make will affect us for years, or possibly for the rest of our lives. Take, for example, a person who is considering a vocation to the priesthood or religious life as a brother or sister. Many people in our world today would see such a choice as throwing away their life. But if it is the will of God for me, then I should choose it. For whoever loses his life for my sake will save it. The disciples of Christ realized that in choosing God's will, we find perfect freedom and happiness. The world doesn't see it that way at all. The world doesn't get it. How about the spouse who stays true to their wedding vows when the other spouse breaks them? This is truly carrying a daily cross. I knew a woman whose husband left her and their 5 children to run off with another woman. She kept her vows for over 60 years through a mountain of difficulties. She spoke to me about her cross shortly before her death. It had been extremely painful, but she had the peace that comes from a clear conscience and the companionship of Jesus every day of her life. She was filled with joy as she anticipated the life to come after death, and it radiated from her face. Those who seek their own will in everything are living for this world, and they will never be satisfied or find the peace of Christ. That can only be found in doing God's will. Choose it.